This video does contain spoilers for Peaks of Yore, so if you don't want to be spoiled on the shape of a rock, probably don't watch the speedrunning video. Before I get into the speedrun, what is Peaks of Yore? Peaks of Yore is a single-player rock climbing game based in Scotland in the 1800s. Your goal is to become the leader of the OAS, or the Official Ascension Society. You start off with some relatively easy climbing challenges. Alright, so with that out of the way, Peaks of Yore is an amazing game. So how did I become the worst speedrunner to ever do it? Well, I'll keep it pretty simple. But it all starts with at the final mountain of the game, Solemn Tempest. Solemn Tempest is hard, like really hard. To put into perspective how hard Solemn Tempest is, this mountain is 7,500 meters tall, taller than every other mountain in the game combined. This mountain took me 40 hours of attempts to beat one time. Now, my hands aren't the only tool I have to climb this mountain though. Okay, so there's really only two tools that matter for the purpose of this video: ice axes and crampons. Ice axes can be swapped out for your regular hands at any point during the climb and are required to climb up ice, and crampons allow you to fly. Okay, so crampons are a bit broken, but they're an essential part of the run. They give you an extra mid-air boost whenever you're next to a wall and allow you to skip huge sections of the mountain by simply just jumping over it. The timing can be pretty precise on these, but again, I'm simplifying a lot here. Back to the mountain. The mountain can be divided into a few key milestones: the 2-kilometer ice wall, the 3-kilometer ice gauntlet, and the 6-kilometer false peak. The 2-kilometer ice wall is your first major landmark and basically serves as a net to catch yourself for a bit of the mountain. The 3-kilometer icicle gauntlet is a near 1 kilometer long horizontal section with minimal crampon usage and no spots to catch yourself when you fall. This part sucks. Then there's a relatively long but straight shot to the 6-kilometer false peak. I call it the false peak because it looks like the top of the mountain until you get to it. Then you realize you still have another 1.5 kilometers to go. And stuff gets real at the final stretch. There's wraparound jumps, wind, and an abundance of tiny holds you can barely grab. And most importantly, the worst skip of this run. I didn't mention any of the other skips as they're relatively easy, but this one deserves a mention. This jump. It might look relatively harmless, but this jump is near the end of a 7.5 kilometer climb and is the hardest skip I had to learn. You need to make it from this rock to this rock in one jump. This is not an easy task, and it being at the end of the run was brutal. Doing the entire climb only to fail at this jump at the end was devastating, but on one attempt I managed to do it and completed the run. Well, actually I did it twice, but I completely fumbled the ending. Anyway, I uploaded my run and submitted it, and that's how I secured my spot in last. Okay, so this video was initially supposed to be a joke about how I submitted a terrible run, but things changed when I submitted it, so here's some context. AstralSpiff's Solemn Tempest video was what introduced me to Peaks of Yore, and since then I've put over 220 hours into it as of making this video. I don't usually watch streams, but I happened to be in his stream the other day where he got the speedrunner NippleNick to beat some of his custom levels during it, and NippleNick said this.
We're still last place on the leaderboard, sadly. Maybe one day. I feel like no one's gonna upload a run that's worse than yours. I think it's over, you know.
So
Yeah, someone submit a run worse than Spiff. Come on.
I'll just submit a run.
That could be fun, I thought. So I devoted a week to learning the route and finishing a run. I actually did it a bit faster than AstralSpiff's run and waited a few seconds at the end, which I found kind of funny to have in a speedrun. Then my run gets rejected. My beloved NippleNick said to do this, and certainly he could do no wrong. So I ping him on Discord to get some answers, and he says this. NippleNick, you ruined my life. Count your days, Mr. Nipple, if that is your real name. But then, a guardian angel named Xaero, the current world record holder, comes in and drops an absolute banger of a quote. If your run is valid, it should be verified. While I also often joke about not accepting runs slower than Spiff's, this is just what it is, a joke. I'd like to say thank you to Xaero for verifying my run, which is now in last place where it belongs. Also, sorry I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'd also like to thank AstralSpiff for introducing this game, and to NippleNick, what can pass sucks.